no, and yeah. Speaking of, let's go. You talked about expectations, and I sent out a tweet thread this week that rankled that some fans in Flames land liked, others didn't. And I talked about kind of the building around top 10 picks because we're in a position, we know the Flames are not going to make the playoffs. And a lot of what I'm calling the influencers or the people that are trying to be influencers on social media are really encouraging this tankathon so the Flames can get a top 10 pick. And I just, yes, the Edmonton Oilers did draft Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the top 10. They also drafted Nail Yakupov and Jesse Puyarvi in the top 10. The Vancouver Canucks have drafted Elias Pettersson when he's going good, and Quinn Hughes in the top 10. They also drafted Olli Juolevi and Jake Virtanen in the top 10. And yes, there are teams that hit like Colorado with Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, but they also had one draft in 2014 that they only had one player play in the NHL, and that was a guy by the name of I'll just pull this up here. A guy by the name of Anton Lindholm. Not sure if he's related to Elias, and he was a 5th round pick in 2014. 66 games. Now they didn't pick in the top 10 that year. They picked 23rd and they got a Connor Bleakley. You also have the Buffalo Sabres, who have picked 10 straight years in the top 10. And they have some hits in Rasmus Dahlin. Then now they acquired Bowen Byram, which was a Colorado pick, but they've had to trade Jack Eichel to the Vegas Golden Knights. They've had to trade Sam Reinhart to the Buffalo Sabres. All I am saying is you cannot, with this top 10 pick, we agree the Flames need elite talent, but I think just having this expectation on this top 10 talent that's going to walk in here and be the savior of the franchise, especially with one particular name in that list, I think we need to pump the brakes on that. Let the guy, whoever it is, get comfortable in the league. Like look at the Flames' history. Matthew Tkachuk turned out to be an elite franchise guy, but it's fair to say, and Sam Bennett and Sean Monahan, they're solid NHLers. They're not franchise guys. So it is not a guarantee. My point ultimately is it is not a guarantee in the top 10 that you are going to get your franchise face of the franchise.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think the Flames have been good at getting, picks later in the draft as well. I mean, even go back to 2011. Flames took Sven Baertschi at number 13. Marcus Granlund at 45. Tyler Wotherspoon at 57. Those were some lousy picks in that draft. So there's good and there's bad every year. And there's just as many good stories of guys drafted high as there are, like you said, busts. I mean, go back to 2005. Gilbert Brulé drafted number 6. Scott Glennie in 2009, number 8. Guys that you go, who? And I don't think that the Flames, the guys that do really well, those top 5 guys, are usually guys that come from the draft and come right to the NHL. And that's not, I think, even the Flames draft top 10, you're not going to have a guy come right to the NHL. So whether it's a top 10 pick, a top 20 pick, I think any of those guys, if you season them correctly in the AHL, you can work to get them where you need them to be. I think a lot of times those guys that, fans are excited about, those top picks, it's because, wow, they're coming to the NHL. And I think actually with Sam Bennett, the Flames messed it up by bringing him to the NHL too early.